Test. Okay, great. You guys all ready?
Yep. Here.
Let's call this meeting to order. This is City Council Works Session. It's Monday, September 22nd at 6:05 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. So the first item that we are going to go out, will the clerk please take the roll?
Councilmember Murray is absent. Councilmember Middleton.
Present.
Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Present.
Council President Pro Tempore Hotchkiss.
Present.
Councilmember Matavetsky is absent. Councilmember Rathmel. Present. Councilmember Dundon is absent. Thank you.
Thank you. So the first item on the agenda was pulled. So we're going to move on to RL 25-148, considered in finance with Councilmember Kavanaugh. And welcome down our Comptroller Chuck Robinson.
Good evening, Chuck.
Good evening, everybody.
All right. Do you want to walk us through these transfers and the whys and wherefores here?
Yes. Okay. So you need to start with the first one here. This one is for the sewer fund. I did an analysis to see which budget lines would be out of budget at the end of the year, and these were the lines. Basically, it was health insurance. Let me find it here. It was both of the health insurance lines, electricity, and that was it. The rest of it's being used with some extra band principal that we didn't use. The sewer fund is having a lot of interest this year due to the cash that we have, savings in some personal services, and then we had to use fund balance. But the retirees is somehow we just miscalculated the number of retirees in the sewer fund and the water fund. I think I mentioned this before a couple of sessions ago. So we had to reallocate that in the budget this year. So that's why that's off.
And that explains the retiree contributions. What about the regular health insurance situation? Are we just higher than expected claims, or
Same thing. We just calculated the number of employees in retirees and employees.
oh, both? Oh.
Mhm.
And well, I mean, I guess it's only $1,000, but we just decided to get less principal due on our band payment than we thought. Is that normal to not have
It's
it
possible.
calculated?
Yeah. From when we budgeted last year to when we actually did the band. It's basically based on allocation of what departments that have band projects in. And it was probably just a percentage or two off in like from the water or sewer or general fund project. So like maybe the sewer fund was off of like a percentage point.
And this is fund balance is coming from sewer fund balance, obviously, not general city
Yes,
fund.
the sewer fund is healthy.
Do we have a policy about the fund balance? Is there any like guidance that that is established for the use of the fund balance for the sewer?
You mean like a city policy?
Yeah, or one that's
Not that I
for the
know of.
board. Okay.
No. I mean, it has a healthy fund balance. You're allowed to use it.
Right.
It is sacred for other things like debt service and things like that. Rachel?
Debt service, like the sewer fund.
Anything else on this one?
Do you have a definition of, so relative to Councilmember Hotchkiss's question about a policy for the fund balance? And you said generally if it is, whether it's, I know you referenced the sewer fund balance, the fund balance in general. If it's healthy, you're allowed to use it. Is there a determining factor in identifying it as healthy?
No, OSC doesn't give you a number of what is a healthy fund balance or what's not.
Is there a percentage that is generally considered?
No, there isn't.
So are we, electricity bill wise, are we? I thought we had kind of anticipated increases this year and we're still,
We're still receiving higher than normal NICEAG bills. The rates went up last May, this May, and they'll probably go up next May too, if the Public Service Commission approves it. I don't know if they've had that meeting yet or not.
I think there's a public hearing coming up for that.
There is?
Yeah.
Okay.
have you built that potential increase in?
We tried to into next year's.
Into next
budget.
year, yeah.
Yes, it did increase. Don't know the exact percentage, but I can give that to you.
But you kind of did it across the board,
Yes, across the board. Mhm.
just for reference for the next couple weeks. All right. Thank you.
We're all set. All right, we can move on to RL 25-149. Again, considered in finance with Councilmember Kavanaugh, and our presenter is Chuck Robinson.
Okay. So these kind of seem like disparate things to have in the same RL.
Yeah, which one is this now?
This is the kitchen appliances for the senior center and a parks vehicle.
Right. They're both going to be in the Parks Capital Fund budget. They're both associated with parks.
Senior centers run out of parks
Yes.
budget.
Mhm. Yeah, the parks rangers are driving around in basically beat up jalopies right now. They do need a new vehicle.
And what are we going to get them for 30 grand? Or is there other money that's going to meet with that 30 grand?
This is that's not it.
Bless you.
Yeah, this is from unused capital fund money that we're funding it into. It's in the capital fund. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just asking what kind of vehicle can we get for $30,000? Or is there other money left in the parks budget that's going to go with this 30,000?
No, well, there is some money in that line. I think that's total of, no, they're just gonna get a $30,000 vehicle. I don't know exactly what it is. It's not gonna be very much though.
I mean, you can't get, I don't know what they're trying to get, but you can't get much of a, like a bare bones Maverick or something. It's still over 30, I think. So I don't,
That's what they're getting.
um, I mean, how did we arrive at that number? Like, who's
That's-
that? Do we not, do
Nick-
we not
Nick-
know what they're asking for? What
Yeah, Nick-
actual vehicle they're
Nick.
trying to get?
Nick Ballard asked for that $30,000. He has an estimate. I didn't bring it down.
Do we have any idea if we'll be replacing? I mean, in terms of future planning, if we're just spending that amount on a less than ideal vehicle, would we be simply replacing it next year?
Yes, this will be replacing a very, very old vehicle that they've been using for a long time. From what I
Right, but are
understand,
we
it's a very-
replacing it with another old vehicle since we're only budgeting 30,000 for it?
I'm gonna have to refer that to Nick Ballard then.
And I guess, I mean, similar questions for the senior center kitchen. I've not heard anything about a senior center kitchen needing repairs or upgrades of new equipment? And do we know what we're getting for $29,000? And
Yeah, that's so they can prepare the meals for it's associated with Broome County. I can't remember if it's Meals on Wheels or if it's through the Office of Aging. It's one of the two to continue that program. The kitchen's pretty old over there. And they asked for this in their capital improvement plan, but we didn't put it in this year. So they're asking for it again this year. And this way we're using unused capital money to get this equipment without going into the general fund budget.
Councilmember Kavanaugh, so I haven't had a chance to read through it because it was sent just before 4, but I know we got additional context and details from acting chief of BPD relative to his ask. Could we ask the same of
I think
Ballard?
we need to, yes.
Right,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I think we'll want more. I mean, Nick's obviously not here. We're going to want more specifics on both of these items before they get signed out.
Absolutely.
And also, I guess a question for you would be, there's a couple of items that we're dipping into flood wall pipe inspection and repair budget for. Did we not do as many flood wall inspections as we thought we were going to do this year? Or what was why is that so healthy?
This money, they've had a considerable amount of money in this one for a few years, and they haven't been using it at all. And so we're just going to pull some money from that and use it for this.
So that would be, who controls that line?
That's
Engineering?
Ron Lake.
That's
It's for DEC.
Didn't we just have another that one agreement? That was the fifth update to the pipe inspection and repairs that was coming from the DEC. It was like $83,000. That now I can't remember where we pulled money or if we did pull money to pay for that, but that seems like what this is intended to be used for.
I'm not
But-
familiar with that.
I don't believe we can look back. I don't think we had to move money for that. I think there's sufficient money in the project and we just had to authorize them to do the contract, if I remember correctly.
Yes, and that's separate from the flood wall inspection piece that this line is for.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to request a little bit more information from Nick Ballard on these. An explanation, and then do you want to move on? You
Sure.
guys set on this one? Okay. Thank you. So we're going to move on to RL 25-150, an ordinance to amend the 2025 DPW capital budget for purchase of a skid steer vehicle. Welcome down Josh Paludi, the acting commissioner of the Department of Public Works. And again, this is considered in finance with Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Good evening.
Good evening, everybody.
Welcome. So you need a skid steer.
So the skid steer we have is a 2009. We put significant money in it trying to repair it. We've had all our mechanics look at it. I've had it back to the dealership to look at it. And I've also had another outside shop that is not a Bobcat dealership look at it. And no one can seem to figure out why it keeps doing what it's doing. We have a few different problems with it. Number one, it just locks up on us. We'll be out doing a job and just locks.
Wow.
And we'll have to sit there and drag it out of the way, let it sit and restart to mission problems with it also. It'll just blow nasty blue smoke all the time. Go through, trim it out, do all the fluids, and it continues to be a problem again and again. It'll work fine for weeks, and then we're right back to the beginning again.
I'm sorry. So basically it's off the road more than it's on the road vehicle.
We keep putting Band-Aids on it so we can keep doing what we need to do, but it's it's running at half capacity half the time. It doesn't work like it's supposed to work. We spend more time playing with it than getting work done. It's kind of where we're at with it now.
And it's the only one in the department?
We have two. The other one is a 2007, but that one does not have the same features that the newer one does. Right.
Pretty old.
Right. The older one we like for a yard horse. It's great for around the yard, doing stuff in the yard. But as far as taking it on the streets for what we do it with, you can use it in a pinch, but the other one's just way nicer with the way it operates. It works a little tighter.
When it works.
When it works, yes.
So it looks like you've got some money coming out of your budget lines, like field conditioner. A lot of money left in field conditioning and turf. Why are we not using that? Or why do we not need that?
Which line did you say? I could hear you.
The field conditioning and turf. Turfus?
Yeah, that's a parks line and they haven't, they're not going to use that line next year.
And then we got more flood wall pipe inspection line. And then a little bit here, a little bit there. What is special police activity, EXP? $10,000.
Mhm.
We know what that is?
There's 3 different police lines that they've been accumulating money in. The police special activity.
I think there were a few from SIU local that kept popping up.
It's in the next RLs.
All right. So Commissioner Paluti, how long has this skid steer been giving you a problem? And when did you feel it was time to bite the bullet and ask for a new one?
So the beginning of last summer is when it really started giving us problems where it would just do whatever it wants to do. And it's something we've been looking to replace since then. Last summer, we limped it through last summer and we limped it through this summer. It's just, it's to the point we can't limp it anymore.
So why didn't this come up during capital requests last budget season?
I believe I asked for something different first. I believe we were in need of a different piece of equipment and I had to pick and choose what I wanted to ask money for. And I went with, I believe, probably a plow truck instead.
Okay. What's turnaround time to actually get one of these?
These actually are pretty well stocked. I should be able to get one pretty quick, probably a few months.
A few months is in stock for large equipment.
Yeah, yeah. For any kind of construction equipment, a few months is a great turnaround time.
Any other questions at the moment?
Yeah, I guess I don't think we got an answer for the police line. Like, what was that supposed to be for? Special police activity?
The $10,000.
Yeah,
This is money that they've been collecting for various and like one of them is for like court cases that come from Broome County or from the state and we get the money back for confiscations. The other one is our local investigations for confiscated money. And then once the court cases have been adjudicated and the money has been forfeited, we can get that money back. And that's where these 2 lines come from.
okay. Thank you. It's interesting. Is there anything else on this one? Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Paluti.
Thank you.
Gonna move on to RL 25-151. This is an ordinance to amend the 2025 police budget for a purchase of a police prisoner transport van. This is again considered in finance with Councilmember Kavanaugh.
So Assistant Chief Ryan or Acting Chief Ryan is not here, but he did send a very, I would have to say, perhaps the most detailed explanation we've gotten out of the police department for a request in the last year and a half. Detailing issues they're having with the current, this is for it's a request for a new prisoner van, essentially detailing the issues they're having with the current one. As far as it's not working, the necessity, so as it breaks down, the necessity to transport prisoners one or two at a time in regular police vehicles, and highlighting the advantages of a new vehicle, including better prisoner safety, better climate control, a more robust recording system, things like that. So I think council can probably review that and chew on that. Do we have any questions for Chuck on the actual budget lines or anything?
So this is the other line that you're talking about, the SIU local.
Mhm.
So that's,
This was all for the Special Investigations
Okay.
Unit, collected, confiscated.
So this is basically all seizure money that's
Yes.
being.
Mhm.
And do you know if they've gotten specs on this vehicle yet? Exactly what we're getting or
I
not?
emailed him today and no, they don't have all the full specs yet.
Okay. So I think we'll probably look for a little more information on that as well.
anybody else have anything on this? All right, so we can move on to RL 25-153. This is an ordinance to amend the 2025 capital budget for Ross Park Carousel Restoration, relocation and shelter construction. And this was given to us by the Director of Planning, Juliet Perling. Considered in finance with Councilmember Kavanaugh.
No, you read this one.
I'm here to speak on the Ross Park Carousel, not the ramp. You just read the ramp out loud?
So this seems like a very round
Oh.
number.
I think I said the RL wrong. I think I said RL 153 and I meant 152.
Okay. you
I
confused me.
apologize.
It's okay.
Thank you.
I'd like the car.
So this seems like a very round number. How good of a guesstimate is this for what we'll actually need to get to an open carousel?
Well, it's fairly, I'm hoping fairly accurate. We have enough money to cover all the contracts. The bid to construct the new shelter came up, it was extremely high. We have the money to cover it. But a lot of the increases because of tariffs and construction, all of that is just really taken up the majority of our budget. So we needed another 25,000 to complete the awarded contracts. And I actually wrote it all. Then we have about $55,000 needed to move the rides, the rounding boards, all the parts that have been restored and are in Connecticut. With WRF, they have to bring them all back. WRF has to rent a rigging machine to move the big pole from inside the old structure, move it up. It's very detailed, complicated, and it's about 55 to 60,000 for that. And then we're gonna need about another, the rest of it's gonna go towards completing all the work with contractors for oversight for the electrical. So the 100,000 should do it. We were well within budget all the way up until this beginning of this year. Then all the prices just went up. So I'm fairly certain that this will cover it all. We're gonna hold our contractors to it. If
Do
they
you,
need,
do you have that breakdown that you just narrated to us to
yes, I do.
send with the RL? Yeah, that would be nice.
You want, I mean, I could read it.
Yeah, just, no, you can just
Yeah.
send it, email it.
And send an email.
Yeah.
Okay, you got it. I can do that.
So Chuck, most of these lines that you're rating are these projects that have completed? MacArthur resurfacing, Rec Park gazebo roof. So this is leftover money. We have SIU local, so that's more of the proceeds from seizures, right?
Yep.
We have more money from conditioner and turfs that we just, I'll ask about that later.
Mhm.
I'm a little surprised about the hydrant program. We're comfortable going into that line?
Yeah, he has plenty of hydrants right now,
Okay,
but we can always fund that next year.
all right, because I think there was a cost. I thought we had a nice backstop because we'd locked in a price for a while, and I have some memory of this, but or maybe they buy in a certain quantity to,
I'd have to talk to Tom again.
okay.
So is this the last piece of this carousel at Ross Park?
Yeah,
Okay,
it
yeah,
is.
I was
It
just
is.
looking at the RL that's attached to it and it's going back
2015.
2016.
Yeah, don't even, it's depressing when you just
Like,
Oh, it's been a saga. You
Yeah.
know, it was awarded to us, but it took us until 2023 to get a contract from the state. They had awarded the money to us from a pool that didn't go reconstruction or demolition. Our grant, as we wrote it, said, we're moving it out of the flash flood area up 250 yards, I think. And we were told a new one, and they said, fine, here's your money, but then they wouldn't let us spend it until we figured out what the problem was, and so they fixed it in 2023. So we actually got a signed contract from the state then. And that was for 500,000, and that's what we spent to have all of the rides and everything restored. So the rest of it was pretty much on the city at that point. But my file for that is like this big, just going back and forth. But everything's been approved. We've got the finding of no impact and everything's good to go. So I'm writing up a request for disbursement for the past 10 years. It's also really big. But as soon as they give us approval, we got the bids out and we got the contracts in, and now we just gotta finish paying for that. So.
all right. Anybody else have any questions on this?
The tentative schedule to complete construction is beginning of December this year. That's what I-
Complete construction? You said, or
Complete
to
the
be,
project.
okay,
All right, holiday carousel rides.
Yep, that's what we're going
Ross
for.
Park.
And our contractor is determined to make it, so. yeah,
okay.
we're good.
All right, thank you very much. We're gonna move on to RL 25-153, an ordinance to amend the 2025 ramps fund budget for vehicle purchase. Our presenter is Comptroller Chuck Robinson, and again, considered in finance with Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Okay. Is this a vehicle that the
They,
city owns and Laz uses?
yes, they currently have that vehicle. It's a 2012 F-350, and they just want to upgrade it. This one's having transmission problems. I think everybody saw the side view mirror that was taped on. And it's just having lots of issues, and it's been getting repaired lately. So if the transmission goes, it's just going to be more expensive.
All right. Again, I'm going to ask what they're getting for $41,000. I don't think you can buy an F-350 with a plow. for anywhere
There's,
near
some
41.
there's money in the line that I'm
alright.
transferring it into. There's going to be some more money in that line. They just
Okay.
need that to finish it up.
This is the balance. All right. So we have an idea what the total cost of the vehicle is planned to be.
He did send me something. It's pretty close to that number though, like 50,000.
Our snow plows, so Acting Commissioner Paludi just mentioned having likely put a snow plow in his budget. So snow plows are purchased by multiple departments.
Yes.
They fall into,
So Parks does plowing and DPW does plowing for the city, but this is specifically for just the ramps.
Yeah, this is on a vehicle that can, the plow can get around on all our ramps.
And Laz runs it and maintains.
Yeah.
The Laz person that's driving it. It's a Laz
Yes,
people that kind of
they're
take care
all,
of it.
yep. They do it for us.
okay, thank you.
So the line for 7 Holly Street Garage, has that just been, that was from the project?
Yeah, that was just left over from the project. That was a general fund transfer that we don't need the money anymore. So they can use that for move it into the vehicle line.
Anything else? All right. Okay, thank you. And we're gonna move on to RL 25-153, an ordinance to amend the purchase. Excuse me, an ordinance to amend the 2025 capital fire budget for the purchase of fire equipment. We welcome down Fire Chief Al Gardner. And this is again considered in finance with Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Oh, excuse me,
Oh.
Councilman.
Uh-huh.
She had asked for this to be RL 25-152 to be expedited. She just brought that to my attention.
I tried to look for it and I was looking at the next RL. So, does anybody want to make a motion to expedite?
I'll second.
Okay. Is there any discussion? And we got to do a roll call vote on it, right?
I mean, I'll say this is an in-progress project that I would love to see finished on time. Well, not on time, but on this time, on this timeline anyway. So we're pretty well committed as a city, so.
Yep, I'd like to see it completed as well. We don't need to delay it another 2 weeks. So motion expedite. Any other discussion? The clerk, please take the roll. Take the vote.
I need another one. Okay.
Sounds good.
Councilmember Rathmel,
Aye.
Councilmember Kavanaugh,
Aye.
Councilmember Middleton.
Aye.
And Council President Pro Tem Hotchkiss.
Aye.
Thanks, that's 4-0.
Thank you. Okay. So that's going to be expedited and we'll have that on our Wednesday meeting. So back to the fire RL. What are we looking at here, Chief?
Okay, I'll give you the details on all the items.
Mhm.
The first item is our Petzl Exo systems. A lot of them are on the verge of aging out. They're about 10 years old. But anyway, the Petzl Exo personal escape system serves as a critical lifeline for the firefighters in life-threatening situations. It supports fast controlled escapes by in crucial seconds that often mean the difference between survival and tragedy. It's a heat-resistant rope and a self-braking technology to deliver reliable performance in extreme conditions. So basically, this is a personal escape system. When firefighters get in trouble, interior of a building, they can find an anchor point and hook like an anchor on the anchor point, and they can bail out the window, and it has an ascender.
Mhm.
So they can lower themselves safely to the ground.
And so you currently use this and have these, but it's nearing like their expiration or something?
Yeah, we figured, the training instructor estimated about 40 systems needed to replace. And so let's see, it's about $550 a piece, is about $22,000.
Okay. Then next one is you got cameras. What are,
Yes, these are, this is, funds for, new fire investigation cameras. Current cameras being used, they're using technologies about 10 years old. The new technology produces a much higher quality picture in low light and high humidity conditions, which are the conditions 99% of the pictures taken during a fire investigations are shot in. The cameras are used by fire investigation staff. They're used to take pictures that will be used in criminal and arson cases to help prove origin and cause of the fire, as well as to help prove dangerous conditions, possibly during a fire code inspection. And like I said, each one of the investigators have their own setup. And like I said, they're getting old and a little worn out. And the technology has improved quite a bit, especially with the low light capabilities of these newer cameras.
okay. Any questions on the cameras? About the scuba equipment?
Yeah, that's actually SCBA equipment.
I was wondering.
Yeah, we try to stay above water. But anyway, self-contained breathing apparatus equipment. This is what's it, $9,400 for spare regulators. We've had some regulators that had mechanical damage, maybe suffered damage in a fire. It's the regulator that it snaps into the face piece that regulates the air coming out of the air tank and back. So they're about $1,800 a piece. So that's for we're going to get 5 spares, and there might be I think a couple of replacements there also.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Good.
Yep.
Okay, next item is a forcible entry simulator. It's they call it the all purpose door, but basically we'll be using it to train our recruits and our current firefighters. It's even sometimes the police use our training site over there. They could use it. It's just it allows for inward and outward swinging doors to force them open and close. It has an adjustable latch for difficult settings. There is a lock breaker on it where you can break cylinder locks and padlocks, and it's mobile, and it'll be a great asset to our department and to our training program. Okay, next one, we have just purchased 2 new Bombard Zodiac rafts. They're going to be our frontline rescue watercraft. And so we would ask him permission to purchase 2 Honda BF30 outboard motors, and they're 30 horse, and they'll mount onto the rafts. And we usually buy this equipment out of Ithaca, out of Figure Lakes Boating Center. So they're approximately about 6,000 to 5,000, $5,500 dollars a piece. That was of course last year's price, but I'm sure we have plenty budgeted for that. Next is a couple pieces of EMS equipment. Let's see, our stretchers. are 2018 and 2007. Their expected life for a Stryker Pro stretcher is 7 years. Stryker will no longer provide service for the 2007 model. Repairs to stretchers have cost thousands of dollars due to electronics. There's a potential for increased liability and risk to providers should the stretcher fall due to the age or while transporting a patient. So I think we're asking for, she's asking for 2 of those. They're about $20,000 a piece for a total of $40,000. They're very expensive, but we have 3 ambulances and we need to replace those. And our big ticket item here is our 2 Physio Stryker LP 15 cardiac monitors. Now these are the large monitors that do 12 lead EKGs. They also it's also a defibrillator, and it's kind of like the first line where you have a patient with chest pain, you can diagnose the cardiac arrhythmia, and you can adjust your treatment modalities to what it indicates. And so these are our current. Our current models are about they're over 10 years old, and the Physio Control and Stryker claim they have a 6 to 8 year life span, so it's time to replace them. Anyway, that would go along. These usually 2 units. We might keep one of the old ones for a spare, and we alternate the ambulances day to day, and so we would need 2 of the units with all the new interfaces and all the user-friendly dashboards, and they're a lot faster operation than our current ones. And anyway, that's the gist of it there. Let's see, what do we got? So our training is looking to replace our mannequins over there, and it's hard to believe they're this expensive, but they are. There's one, it's called Rescue Randy. It's about that one is the adult size, and it's $2,400. But the training instructor is requesting an adult, an adolescent, child, and an infant. And what they're trying to do is create more realistic scenarios where the firefighters are going to go in a smoked up room or in the burn trailer over there, and they're going to rescue a family rather than just one person dragging them out. So it'll be a great asset to our training site over there, the Sullivan training site. And so that's about $8,000 for the 4 units. The last is we're looking to start our drone program. And so the drones in the fire service are extremely useful. They're great basically for fire scene reconnaissance. We could take maybe like a high-rise building or a 4-story building. You could fly the drone with infrared cameras, and we could do a complete circle around the building, and we could go to the roof, and the infrared camera is going to show us the approximate location of the main body of fire, so we can attack it with that data. No, we don't have nope, not yet. But anyway, we got a one firefighter from fire prevention or from an investigator in flight school, so he's hopefully we'll get him one to show us what he can do with it. Another great feature use for these would be a river rescue reconnaissance. You often got a report of somebody in the river. And what we usually do is, we put watercraft higher and lower from the reported position, but having a drone there, obviously, you'd be able to fly up and down the river and see if we could spot an individual. And with the infrared cameras at night, it's a good chance we would see a person at night or somebody along the side of the river and locate them more quickly. Third use will be fire investigation. Sometimes the fires, their buildings are extensively damaged and we need aerial shots. And we usually put our tower up and we take pictures from the tower down, but that's just, it's wear and tear in the apparatus, and sometimes you can't get it in position because of, utilities and things like that. And and it also is great for maybe like very, very large buildings. You could be able to fly it inside the building and take a look if it's partially collapsed and too dangerous to get inside. And even I know my friends at State Fire, they had a large building where they actually flew the drone around the outside of the building. It was taking the investigators 40 minutes to walk around the building. So they could fly this drone down the middle of the building. They could fly around the perimeter. It was very useful. Yeah, yep, records everything. They take high resolution pictures. They're really a fantastic tool. We could also use it, as you know, as we inspect commercial buildings. We could use it in code enforcement. We could fly it. We could inspect a roof, take pictures of it, so we could document the condition of buildings. So it'd be very useful in that respect also. And also we do pre-planning on a lot of the buildings, especially the commercial buildings. And we would be able to use it in pre-planning as far as getting details on the roof, heavy HVAC units on the roofs, and we could document that and have it in our computers, on our apparatus available. But so I think I briefed you on all of them. You have any questions?
Not on.
I don't have any questions on the equipment. I have a question, Chuck, more for you related to the capital fund line, or the capital fire budget, excuse me, line. We had an email exchange in late July that was related to a June request to use community development dollars for fire equipment. And in that exchange, I asked whether there were other budget lines that had been or could be considered for a transfer like this one as an alternative to the federal grant funding. And you shared in response that there were no lines available in the general fund fire budget and very little available in the capital fire budget. But this transfer request identifies over 256,000 available in the capital fire budget. Can you help me understand why you would have represented 2 months ago that very little existed in that budget line? But
These
This
aren't
is
fire-
not
these aren't
fire money.
lines. These are engineering lines, police lines, DPW, parks. These are like a conglomeration of many different departments.
okay, I
to
saw
get all
I
this.
saw the lines they were transferred from. I think my confusion was from the amendment to the capital fire budget. So the amendment is the transfer to, not the transfer from.
Right. It's
Okay.
coming from all those other lines over into the one line.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
And I do have one, like a correction I'd like to make, if I could. There is a $58,000 line on there. I think it's from bridge improvements. Is that correct?
Yep.
I would like to change that, because I just got an email that Ron may be needing some of that money. And I'd like to take it out of the H3120550002. That's the special police activity expense. Parens F, close parens, for the $58,000. Just moving from just changing.
You want to just submit another
I can submit another,
A new worksheet.
new worksheet. Yes, the RL stays the same. I can do that.
Chief, how'd you let the fire or the police department get so ahead of you in drone operations?
They had a need for it in, years back, for whatever they do their police activities with it. And, so I think they've gotten a little less expensive, and I think it's easier to get the license now. And, so anyway, and the technology, especially with the infrared, is really phenomenal now. So that would just, it would really benefit us greatly.
Okay.
Nothing else on this? Thank you, Chief Gardner.
Thank you.
So we're going to move on to our last RL, which is RL 25-155, an ordinance to amend the city charter and code chapter 5, administration of government. This was submitted by Councilmember Middleton and is considered in rules and procedures. And I'm going to have Councilmember Kavanaugh be our rules chair.
So, Councilmember Middleton, would you like to talk about RL 25-155, an ordinance to amend the city charter and code chapter 5?
Well, thank you, Councilmember Kavanaugh. This is just an RL. Many things have come up, and it just takes a little while for council to get the contracts. So this is just an RL, so that way we can have access to contracts within 2 business days. So that way we can see what's going on. We've had many instances where it takes time for us to get that.
Was there an opportunity in establishing this for city council to review prior to execution? Or does it have to be after?
When I thought about it, I'm not sure. I know certain things, Bob. I'm not sure certain.
This one working? Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, like any contracts that the city enters into are subject to FOIL, and, you know, I'm happy to share copies of whatever I have in my office. Most of the contracts that we end up signing outside of, like the engineering contracts that get bid out and everything that city council sees, typically those are pretty much in final form when they come to city council. The only things that are really changing in those are non-substantive changes. A lot of times it's really just what the data is going to be in them. Or, you know, I would say most of the time it's the date. Typically there's not really a substantive change. The only contracts that really get signed that aren't in final form that come up regularly are probably ones where we're selling property, real property in the city, where city council will approve the sale of property, will put conditions on it. And then after is when we actually do the real estate contract with whoever's buying it.
What about for like, well, we don't have ARPA anymore, but what about for like CBG fund, like CDBG funds?
So
Contracts.
like the CDBG contracts, city council approves like the funding for those. And then a lot of those get run, basically approve the funding, and then those contracts are pretty much form contracts that get run through Steve Carson's office. Like the actual contracts themselves don't really change. Like all the legal language is largely set out because of the federal guidelines, because of HUD backing those up. So the things that really change in those are, you know, basically what the recipient is putting down for like what their costs and expenses, like what they're applying the funds towards. Their description, their insurance that they provide us, like the certificates of insurance. But the actual like contract itself doesn't change.
So if the initial intent was so that we'd have access to all of them, I guess, without the step of having to request directly within 2 business days, could we also, because we have, to Councilmember Middleton's point, encountered, I mean, the Southern Door Community Land Trust comes to mind. So we have encountered where there were significant changes or substantive, to use that phrase. Could we add something to it where if changes were made to the contract between when it was introduced to council for consideration and prior to execution?
Oh, yeah.
Not for all of them, since it's clearly a very regular process, but I think if there were changes that
We should know.
were made, then we would have the opportunity ideally beforehand so that additional discussion on that substantive measure could be had. Because theoretically, if we approved one thing, but then it was changed, that's not the format that we approved.
Yeah, so, and I, this is kind of the first time this is coming up. I mean, there's probably a few contracts that it doesn't make sense for me to send you, like the engineering contracts where it's a few hundred pages of engineering specs. I can send them to if you want, but again, a lot of it's just engineering specs. The clerk can attest, they're pretty dry to read through. But yeah, I mean, if you're talking about contracts where city council specifically approving them, I don't have a problem.
Yeah.
Resubmitting them or sending them back down here, whatever.
Councilmember Middleton, do you envision kind of revising and adding content based on tonight's discussion, or are you thinking additional?
No, I think that's good. Just like if we come up with a pot of money again and like something like this happens, I think kind of to have this amended would be great for us to see what's going on with the contracts.
I will look forward to the amended final version.
Anything else? All right. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion a second. Any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor?